Well, midway through the UN climate conference, COP30, claims are circulating that 100,000 trees in Brazil's Amazon rainforest were chopped down in order to build a 4-lane highway to Belém, the conference's host city. Emerald, tell us a little bit more about that. True or false?
Well, Sharon, the claim has been doing the rounds for months now in the lead up to COP30, but it really got renewed attention last week as the conference got underway, not least from Donald Trump, who called it a scandal. He says they ripped the hell out of the rainforest of Brazil to build a 4-lane highway for environmentalists to travel. It's also been shared widely on social media with the hashtag COP30 hypocrisy. Now, fact checkers at Deutsche Welle looked into the claim itself, and they found that it appears to have originated from a BBC report from back in March, where the state of Belém's infrastructure secretary is quoted as saying, the road was one of the projects happening in the city in preparation for COP30. But other Brazilian officials were quick to refute that the road has a connection to COP30, as this Reuters article from a few days later details. And it suggests that the BBC headline was misleading there. So let's look at what we know is true. So yes, as this BBC video shows us, there is a road being built. It's a 13-kilometre long 4-lane highway called Avenida Liberdade, being built for a protected area of the rainforest close to Belém. Despite protests, building began in 2024 and it's still ongoing, expected to be completed in 2026. But plans for a highway here go back even further to 2012, and it was officially greenlit in 2020. That's before Belém was chosen as the host city for COP30. Local officials defend the project, which we can see here, and before and after photos. They say it actually doesn't go through, the area it's going through is not untouched because the road follows the path of an existing power line here, so that vegetation had already been cleared. They also say it aims to lower carbon emissions by reducing travel time. That is not to say, of course, that the road won't impact the Amazon's ecosystem on top of the carbon footprint of such a construction. But crucially, it wasn't built especially for the COP. It was already in the works long before to develop Belém's infrastructure in general, although the event may have given it more justification, Sharon.
And Emerald, why does this distinction matter exactly, whether the road was built for COP or not? It still led to acres of rainforest being felled, didn't it?
Well, the distinction matters because it serves an anti-climate action narrative. And there is plenty to criticise about COP, such as, for example, all the world leaders and delegates who are flying in on private jets. But unfortunately, that does tend to overshadow the very real efforts that are going on at the conference to fight climate change and serves as fodder for people like Trump and other climate change deniers who seek to undermine those efforts and portray them as hypocritical. A new report from the watchdog Climate Action Against Disinformation found a 267% rise in the amount of climate disinformation in the lead up to COP30, which was pushed by fossil fuel companies and others in attempts to sow doubt and skepticism. Despite this, the report finds that climate policy remains popular. 89% of the planet wants more of it, and 69% of the public would reportedly be willing to contribute 1% of their monthly income to fighting climate change. But despite this public support for climate measures, there are some very real contradictions when it comes to climate actions. For instance, while Brazil's president Lula da Silva has presided over a decline in deforestation and an increase in renewables, he has also just greenlit the drilling of exploratory oil wells at the mouth of the Amazon River, which of course clashes with his much vaunted ambitions to lead the fight against climate change. Sharon.
Emerald, thanks so much for taking us through all of that. That's Emerald Maxwell with tonight's Truth or Fake. Do stay with us.